playing tetherball with somebody who was really competitive. Not one of my closest friends. And he really wanted to win, and he hit the ball really hard, and it went straight into my face. And hit me in the face. And I was wearing glasses at that point, and my first reaction is my glasses flew up my face, and I'm like, oh, they're gonna be wrecked, was rage. I was so angry, and I wanted to go over there and hit him in the face with the ball. I think that's pretty natural. When we are attacked, when we're hurt, our first reaction is to strike back. It's instinctual in many ways. And you know what? It's reinforced by what we hear in our culture and what we learn in our culture. For example, an example from politics. When 9/11 happened, all those years ago, and 2 planes crashed into the Twin Towers in New York City, and they fell, and thousands of people died. Can you imagine how people would have reacted if on television that night, when the president at that time, George W. Bush, spoke to the nation, he said, "We will not resist an evildoer." What would people have said? Would they have been happy with that? I don't think so. So that's an example from politics. How about an example from media? How many people know James Bond? Yeah? Who's James Bond? Well, he's played by actors, right? He's fictional. He's a spy, that's right. And he goes around and he defeats the enemies of the British nation, right? And one of my favorite ones is Goldfinger. How many have ever seen Goldfinger? You? Okay, so at some point in this movie, James Bond is going after the bad guy and he gets captured by his enemy. His enemy's name is Goldfinger. And he's strapped on this metal table, and he can't move, and there's a laser that's cutting the table, and it's coming towards his body. Now, imagine in that moment, if James Bond had said, "I will not resist an evildoer." Right? He would never say that. He gets free, right? And by the end of the movie, he kills Goldfinger and he defeats him, right? This is a part of our culture. It's a part of what we learn about how to react to enemies, to people who've done violence to us. It's ingrained in us. Not only instinctually, but culturally. What Jesus has to say today is extremely radical. It's extremely radical. Because if we're not fighting back at our enemies, we're pushing them away, right? Isolating them. Historically, if you remember when we were in World War II, Japanese citizens, what happened to them? They were imprisoned. They were placed in internment camps. That's right. And we see the same kind of movement today against enemies. Build a wall. Keep them away from us. Have a travel ban. Don't let them get near us. Right? Not very loving gestures. Not using our words. We don't see very often people living out what Jesus preaches in today's message. But one place that we do see it is in this movement that Martin Luther King Jr. helped to lead in the 60s, the Civil Rights Movement. And so I'd like to show you a video from this time period. Now, I want to give you some warning before we watch the video that it's a confrontation between a young man who's black. His name is Jimmy Webb, and he's confronting a white policeman. And in their conversation, the white policeman uses the N-word once. And it will be upsetting to hear. But I think it will make even more powerful the reaction that Jimmy has to this man, who's attacking him with words, essentially. So let's watch this video. It's about 2 minutes.